keep up to date with our latest videos, please hit the subscribe button below. Hi, welcome to this video from football and racingbetdata.com. This is a monthly mailbag that we started up back in around the 10th of November, so a little bit into November, but we're going to try and make sure that we do this on or around the 1st of each month. And what we aim to do is cover the questions and inquiries that have come into us throughout the month via either the football or the racing website. The intention is that we can answer your question directly, although we obviously will respond by email. It may be that somebody hasn't got around to reading it, or by us explaining and giving examples on the screen helps to give more detail to the written reply. The other benefit of it is that other members watch this video and it may answer something that they've been meaning to ask us, or it might solve a solution that they possibly didn't know how to ask. So it's a shared benefit for all. We love to receive your inquiries and questions, so keep them coming in. You can use the contact us options on both websites. Simple form to fill out and submit that. Obviously make it clear in your description if you don't specifically want us to use your email or query as an example on the upcoming videos, but we will ensure that any sensitive information is of course hidden from view when we do use your inquiries. One more thing of note as well is make sure that you're using you're checking your spam and your junk mailbox for our replies, specifically if you're using Gmail, because they do tend to filter out replies from our mailbox. Add us to your safe senders list. The email address is info@racing-bet-data.com. And the same for football, obviously replacing the racing. Add us to your safe senders list to ensure that your replies go straight into your main mailbox. So the video we did previously, I'm aware that it was quite difficult to see the emails. So what I've done is just pop these up on the screen, just using the snippet tool here. So I'll just manipulate this so we can read this query as the first one. And this one is from Rob. And Rob says, hi, you did a video the other week looking at backing horses whose price ended up lower at off when compared to some minutes earlier. They were not part of the top 3 in the market, less than 21 in terms of odds, and a field size was less than 10, I think. I've replicated the file you produced on the video and I've been monitoring. This seems something that could be automated. Unfortunately, I don't have those skills, so wondered if you'd come across anyone that had that and may be willing to share their automation file. I use BetAngel. So thanks to Rob for the inquiry. I think he's relating to the creating and testing a profitable horse racing system using Power Query video that we did towards the end of October. Brilliant that you're using a video and you're creating your own files. Really useful. I mean, the video we did wasn't intended to say, go on everybody, go out and do this, because if everybody did it, the edge and value would probably be lost if there was any in the first place. It was more of a demonstration as to how you could use Power Query in conjunction with our data files to start analyzing and looking for your own edge. And a similar response to what you're asking there, Rob, for somebody that can create the automation. If you're looking for somebody who has an existing file and you want them to share it with you, well, chances are if it's profitable and it works, they're probably not going to show that. Or share it with you. The best thing to do would be to get a developer or ask on one of the forums. So you mentioned BetAngel, ask on the BetAngel forums or on social media platforms. If you're not able yourself to build an automation platform that you want to use for betting or trading, then ask that question on those specific forums. That would be my advice. And you know, you'll probably have to pay somebody to do that, which is understandable. And then obviously you've just got to be wary of who you share that with. If you think you've found something that is going to be profitable to you, can you trust the person that you're asking to develop that to make sure it's confined to just you? So on to the next question, and this one comes in from Gary. And as you can see, this is quite a wordy one that we've got here. Let's just bring that across. So Gary says, hi, I signed up yesterday. I'm slowly familiarizing myself with the site and all the data. I have limited experience of Excel and using pivot tables, so would it be possible to seek out some guidance? I've watched most of the YouTube videos, which are very helpful. Basically, I would like to create a simple Excel sheet which displays the in-play min and max for the horse's previous runs. I realise I can sift through the combined or specific racecourse tab and find this information, but it's somewhat cumbersome to access each individual race and all the runners. Therefore, I've set up an Excel sheet with one tab which holds the combined data for the daily pre-race download, and I've removed the columns I do not wish to capture. Then each day I can update the data source settings with the new pre-race data. YouTube videos help work that out. So Gary's referring to the Power Query videos that we've done, so really good that he's using the data in that way. However, I'm struggling with the pivot table. I've set up the various filters I require, such as being able to select the individual race and then filtering for pace, going, race type, years, etc. This all works fine, but I cannot work out how to get the table to display the minimum, maximum in-play values for each of the last runs in separate columns. I can only see options for sum, count, average, etc., which all display in one column. I'll provide an example which hopefully explains what I'm trying to achieve. I have the horse name set at the row in the table so it displays in the first column. If a horse has had 6 runs in 2021, when I filter the race to just show runs in 2021, or example horse should display 12 columns. Sorry, our example horse should display 12 columns. The last run would display the in-play min and max values side by side as 2 separate columns. The next 2 columns would show the in-play min max for the previous run. So effectively, the column headings would be last time out in-play min and last time out in-play max, last time out +1, plus for min and max, etc. until we have the 12 columns representing the in-play max values. I think he means rows, but that's fine, of our example horse with its 6 runs in 2021. In addition, as I filter the race to suit conditions, this will obviously report more or less races, so the table could have any number of columns or rows to present in the in-play data. Hope it makes sense, possibly easier if I could attach a screenshot. I don't know if what I've asked is simple setting or more bespoke requirement to produce. Please let me know either way. I look forward to hearing from you. Regards, Gary. So thanks, Gary, for that. A lot to cover. So first of all, bespoke requests. Yep, we do accept bespoke requests through the website. So if you have something that you want us to build for you, then you can go to the website and go to bespoke data sets and put in a request. And what we would do was provide you with the quotation based on how long it's going to take us to do it. So, you know, we've all got costs and overheads associated with it. To build something for somebody individually, we'd spec it out and provide a quotation. We try to keep that quote as accurate as possible, and sometimes it takes less time than anticipated, so obviously the charge isn't as much as quoted. If we can do something quickly, we won't make a charge, obviously, but if we're talking several hours of somebody's time, then that needs to be accounted for. In this example, what Gary has asked for was really quite simple. So he was referring to sums, and it was grouping everything together. So what I've done here, if I just take out date, this is what he was getting. So for these specific horses, he was getting all of the in-play and all of the in-play max for each horse in that specific race grouped together. You need a unique identifier in there to split that out. So adding date gives those into the row column, gives each row its own individual link to that race. So this one was done earlier this month, 12th of the month. So, 12th of last month. So there was no data attached to the in-play min or max because that horse hadn't run in that race. But you can see there the lines that Gary was referring to. So all done in chronological order as well, because we've used the date function within the pivot table, and it's sorted chronologically. Something as simple as that, there's obviously no charge for. I think Gary admitted himself, pivot tables weren't his forte. He did well to build what he had already, and it just needed that final tweak to get it over the line. And instances like that, we're more than happy to help, either by sending us a spreadsheet as an attachment, which is usually the best way to go about it, because we can then look at it, feel it, or by just giving you, if we can understand what you're asking in the text, we can tell you what it is that you need to do as an email reply. So I'm glad we got that one sorted for you, Gary. Next query came in. This one was from Richard Rich. So Rich says, "Hi Chris, took the plunge, signed up in spite of my basic analytical stroke Excel skills, which is absolutely fine. I'll try and keep questions to a minimum and read your FAQ." So yeah, we do have an FAQ page, which should be the first port of call for anybody that may have a bit of a head scratcher. Couple of questions. RBD ratings, higher the better. Yep. So the ratings are based around a number of factors, and the number is works in the same way as the official ratings. So the higher the number, the better the rating for the horse. RBD rankings, higher the better. No. So ranking, you're looking for a number 1. So where you got a 1, it's ranked number 1, that is the best. So the lower number, the better in terms of ranking. Richard also says, "I'm an advocate of the theory of wisdom of the crowd and that beating closing lines is key. Reading between the lines, your videos, I gather that trial and error is the route to long-term success. Well done on your work here. It's really interesting, if a little above my ability at times, Rich." So yeah, look, there's a lot of data, there's a lot to take in. You don't need to have great analytical or Excel skills. You can export to screen, and we are making that functionality a lot better as we speak now. So behind the scenes, we're working on the development of the site, which will bring bigger, faster exports to screen. You'll be able to sort those and manipulate those a lot better, and it will feel a lot better as well. So that is still work in progress. It's taken a bit longer than we anticipated, but it is on its way. So you don't have to use Excel. It is the best and recommended way because you've got more power. It's quick to manipulate. You've got the added functions of the Power Query, the pivot tables, the sorting, everything else that goes with Excel. But if it's not your bag, then that's completely understandable and it's fine. You can still use the data in a number of other ways. So the next question comes in from Ian. Ian says, "Good morning. I'm trying to log in and it says there's already a username with my email address. I think I must have an account already, but can't see a way of resetting my password. Please, can you help me? Thanks, Ian." Okay, so a fairly common issue we get, logins are case sensitive. So if Ian or if anybody has signed up with a capital I or whatever at the beginning of their username, email address, and then they're trying to enter a lowercase as the login, it will return an error. So you need to make sure when you're entering your login and email address and password that they're case sensitive exactly how you entered them. In terms of resetting your password, you can do all of that through the My Account section here. Or if you've not logged in because you don't know your username, when you go to log in, there will be a link to forgotten password that you can click and reset your password. Again, make sure you're using the email address with the case sensitivity applied. Any questions or concerns around that logging in, just give us a shout on the inquiry form. So the next question comes from Scott, and Scott asks, "Hi, I'm getting the hang of all the data now. Great product. Thanks, Scott. I want to be able to look at the in-running price movements and find if the price of a horse has jumped up or down in price before it made the opposite movement. E.g., if a horse at 10 BSP doubled in running before running down to odds of 5, is there a quick way of filtering this as opposed to going through each individual horse? Thanks, Scott." Okay, so we covered this in a video probably around about April 2021. Now the video is on a YouTube channel called "Using Pace Data to Perform In-Play Horse Racing Trades B2L," so back to lay, or LTB, later back. Now all the data is there. So this is what we provide. The data is all there using the results and odds file. You've got the in-running price movements as they happened, roughly 3 price movements every 2 or 1.5 seconds. So it records where the price has been matched as the horse has run through the race. Then it's almost down to you to use your Excel skills or your analytical skills how you please. So everybody's going to have different ideas or different ways that they want to work and use the data. So, you know, it's provided on the plate. How you eat it is entirely up to you. But the videos that we have provided and done do cover some elements of it. So in that video, it does show you how you can monitor where a horse has reached a certain level and then has dropped to a certain level. So that has been provided to Scott and he's happy with that. It's worth noting as well, in the comments of that video, the using pace data to perform in-play horse racing trades, there was a file that we created as a bespoke for one of the members, a specific request that he made. And because it was created for him as a bespoke and it was chargeable, it's unfair for us to give that away to anybody else. But the link to obtain that file, or the two files, one's back to lay, one's later back, is in the description of that video. So the next inquiry came from Ron, and Ron has asked, "Hi, I'm trying and struggling to find a quick way of reversing the row data of the in-play prices in the daily results download. In other words, sales in column AG would show first trading price instead of last. Is this something you can help with?" So that's Ron's initial inquiry, and he's referring to the results and odds download file, and he's actually referring to column AJ being the last traded price. So the odds in that file go through the most recent from left right through to the first to right. Okay, so what Ron is asking for is, can we flip that? Well, we could do, but the problem, if we did that for Ron, then that probably interferes with other people's variables, automation, setup, lookups, references. So we're not going to change the format of that file just based on one specific request, which we made clear to Ron. This is where this becomes a bespoke request. So Ron's asking for something unique to him that he wants to do, that he's perhaps unable to do, as he's hinted at this struggling element with the data as it is. So our reply back to Ron was that we could do that for him using a macro, a bit of Visual Basic, depending on his requirements. Did he want it on another tab? Did he want to replace the data that was there in that existence? Did he want to copy it and put it further down the end? So replies like this, or queries like this, are typical bespoke requirements. And that is where we'd need a developer to look at that, spend the time on it, and provide a quotation. But usually things like this, they're doable. It's just how long it takes, and whether you as the user see the benefit in this doing that for you. So on to the next question, and this comes from Matthew, and Matthew asks, "Hi, or hello, I'm currently in the process of trialing different horse racing systems using different data from various sources and came across your site. I was wondering if you offer any free trial to see if it's suitable. I signed up for a free account, however it says some information is missing, so I'd like to see the full site to decide if this would be worth for me to sign up or not." Well, in simple answer to the question, Matthew, is as a basic member or guest, you should be able to export everything you need to see what we offer. So in terms of the data dashboard, as a basic member, you can get in and do an export to Excel to screen, and you get the same headers. There's no information missing. There's just a restriction on the output. And the same with the pre-race download files and the results and odds download files. There are samples available to download to basic or free members to be able to see the content and the tabs that are involved in that data. Now, for us to be able to provide a free trial, which is something we did do several years ago, it left us open to abuse. Unfortunately, we had people that came in, mass data grab, and were off on their toes. And that is not fair or respectful to existing members, and especially long-standing members that we have on our site. The value that we offer already for the money that we charge is phenomenal. You can obtain a monthly membership for less than £10 a month, an annual membership for less than £50 a year, which equates to less than £1 a week. So in terms of offering a free trial, it's not something that we will be doing again in the future. All of the data and the formats of the data are available for people as a basic or free member to look at before they upgrade. It's just the amount of the content that's exportable that we restrict. Okay, the next question comes in from Mike. Mike says, "Hi Chris, does your site include the race field or the winner's finishing time at all? I was hoping it would, but I can't find it anywhere. Thanks, Mike." Yep, it does. So if you navigate to the results and odds download file and export whichever day you're looking at. Within that file is the winning time for the horse, and the race field. I'm not sure if you mean race field size, but the field size, number of runners are in the daily in the pre-race download file. They're in the data dashboard as well as the results and odds download file. So if you're looking for the field size and the winner's finishing time, probably the results and odds download file would be the best for you, because it will contain both of the things you're looking for in one place. So on to the next question, and this one comes in from Ron. And Ron says, I'm considering joining, but wanted to check if the price data is time-stamped both before and after off time. And if so, at what intervals? Would this also apply to the kickoff in football data? Okay, so a couple of questions within that question there from Ron. Just to answer that, Ron, so yeah, time-stamping in the results and odds download file. We've set the timestamps at 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and post time or scheduled post time, as well as the BSP. That was agreed at time of setting up the results and odds download file, which was August 2020. That's what users wanted. So for people to then come in and say, well, can we have it at 30 minutes? If we start doing that, then somebody will say, can I have it at 28 minutes and then 25 and then 90? So those are the fixed parameters that we've set it at. I believe that anything 15 minutes within is probably where most people will have their focus anyway. So I think we capture everything the majority of people will need with those time-stamped price matches. During Inplay, I sort of alluded to it in the video for a previous question, but the timestamps are about 3 stamps every 1.5 to 2 seconds during the Inplay runs. So that's the intervals. There's no time as such attached, but it shows you the flow of prices as the race progresses. And as I've said, it's covered from right to left, right being the oldest, through to the newest, i.e. the last traded price. In terms of football, no. So the prices for football, slightly different. So these are the bookmaker prices, and for games that have not yet kicked off. So when we're looking at a game that's playing in the evening and we've got the morning data there, that is the price that was taken 3 a.m. UK time, and the price for games that have completed, that was the price on kickoff, and that's the average price across all bookmakers who offered that specific market. Okay, so next question comes from Nick, and Nick says, hi, I've downloaded today's racing spreadsheet, but it won't let me open it as it's coming up with a virus and threat protection. I've only just signed up, and this didn't happen when I downloaded the day's data last week, but today it has. Any ideas, please, or how I turn this off to allow it to open? Cheers. So we spoke with Nick on this, and as we advised, it wasn't an issue with the file or the site itself. When this happens, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a local setting to your device, computer, laptop, whatever you're trying to use to open the file. So it's always worth checking your antivirus. Maybe it's oversensitive, checking your Excel version. But in this instance, Nick had to go to his properties and allow the file to open. So that was resolved pretty quickly. If you do have this issue, get in touch with us, but we'd always recommend, specifically if you've opened it previously in previous days, then it's likely to be something in your settings, may just need a reboot that's preventing you from downloading or opening that file. On to the next query, and this one comes in from Danson. He says, hi, I'm a first-time user and really appreciate the horse racing database. Awesome. Looking to filter out all prices that hit 1,000 and went on to win, pre-off and in play, or ones that traded at 101 in play and lost at Wolverhampton. I would only be interested in the racecourse name, going, type and number of runners. The dates can go back as far as the limit is not exceeded. Is there a way to get this in one go? How do I set up the odds filters on the dashboard to get this results? Okay, so a bit specific there really for what the dashboard is set up for, but doesn't mean you can't do it. So the easiest thing to do would be to break down into years the using criteria just for Wolverhampton racecourse, and maybe break it down into 3 or 4 years. Currently, Exporting from the data dashboard, limit is 30,000 rows. But as I've alluded to in the video already, that will be increased, in fact doubled, and the speed is going to be so much quicker. So you'll be able to get that more or less for Wolverhampton. You'll probably be able to get full 20-year history in one hit straight out of the dashboard into Excel, and then you're away, because then you can start doing your analysis using if or and functionality within Excel to be able to filter for where a horse its traded price hit 1,000 and the place was 1, and you'd be able to do like a binary logic on that. And equally as well, where horses in play or pre-race price was 101 and the place was different to 1, so it didn't win the race, and you'd be able to pull that data out. So when we spoke to Danson, we managed to establish what he wanted, got him that data really easy. It was a bit of a bespoke request, but it didn't take very long at all to do, and that is exactly what the site is for, really. It's these sort of quirky requests and requirements that people may have that they want to look at. The data dashboard can provide that data, and then we're there to help if you do struggle to manipulate it in the way in which you require. So the final inquiry for racing bet data came from Francis, and he or she asked, I would like to know if you have all-inclusive data sets for purchase. This would include current jockey history, horse race history, and trainer history. Well, the website isn't really something that we give exclusive data sets for. That's what we provide, is the data, and it's up to the user to use the data dashboard or the unique daily files to obtain what they want. So from what Francis is asking, for a very small price, they would be able to use the login as an advanced member or join as an advanced member and access the jockey that they want. Whether there's any more specific criteria, I'm not sure. The race history, horse race history, I'm not entirely sure what they meant by that. But if they meant the history of a horse, that's obviously in the daily download file for each horse running that day. Or you could go into the head-to-head section and specifically tailor it to just one horse and get the full history. Or you can go into the data dashboard, click on a horse's name, and it pops up a hyperlink with all of the horse's history in there. And trainer, same as jockey, you can get all that information straight out of the data dashboard. So no need to be purchasing specific data sets, which are likely to cost you more money depending on where you go. You can tailor that and get what you want during the course of your membership. Okay, so moving on to questions specifically from football bet data from the contact us page on that website. The first one comes from Richard, and he asks, hi, great site and interesting videos. Thanks. I've joined up on a basic plan, but I'm excited to join fully. I have a couple of questions if you have time. Have you backtested your predicted odds versus SP? I was looking at your example for over under 2.5 goals data set, but question applies more broadly, please. Okay, so to answer that, I'm not sure exactly what Richard means by tested, but the predicted odds are a calculated method that was used actually by one of our earlier members for his dissertation way back in 2008, and he did find that the predicted odds did offer value in specific situations. So they're there as a guide, really, to act along with our predicted scores. The problem is with predicted odds, there are other factors that can implement, specifically in football. You get 2 players injured or you get a player suspended. We had things like through COVID where the home team advantage was all but evaporated, certainly at the higher level leagues in England. You have travel factors, fatigue factors, loss of manager, new signings. You have a whole additional weight of factors that apply, certainly to football compared to horse racing, that can influence odds. So you've always got to be mindful of that when looking at football in terms of predictions, whether it's the score, result, odds. So I know I've made a bit of a wishy-washy statement there, but the odds there is statistical relevance within those odds. Following on from that question, Richard also asks, in the above data example, am I right to conclude that this formula displays value bets within the market? Have you back tested this? Brilliant site, you guys are very clever. Regards, Rich. So I've sort of answered that as well. Value bets, it's open to interpretation. There's so many other factors that you need to consider with football, even right up to kickoff. You know, teams resting players picking up an injury in a warm-up. It's really, really difficult to do a blanket comparison saying those odds will be more accurate than those. You've got to factor in other contributory factors. In play, for instance, you have teams that have a red card. That's going to impact on the odds. The goalkeeper might get injured. That's going to impact on the odds. So football has so many more variables to it than certainly compared to horse racing. But listen, there are people that use the data combined with the score predictions and the odds projections. There are people out there that have shown me and that do use that alone to build their successful systems. So long question, but short answer is yes, the predictions are statistically relevant. Okay, next question, similar lines from Andy. So Andy says, hi, I'm thinking of signing up, but just wanted to clarify one thing. In your score and match predictions, are these Poisson based? If so, is it straight Poisson or modified Dixon Coles, etc.? Cheers, Andy. No, so our predictions are more layered. There's more layerings to the score predictions than straight up Poisson. Other factors are included, weighting factors. So we consider, we do apply a weighting factor to the last 5 games that each team has played. We also factor in the head-to-head over the last 5 seasons for the 2 teams playing. And we also feature in the dynamic of the league as well. So this is why we don't offer predictions further in advance. So say, for instance, there's games playing on a Tuesday night, we wouldn't offer the Wednesday night predictions until those Tuesday games have been completed, because part of the calculation does focus on the dynamic of the league. But as we just answered in the previous question, football is it does require more detailed thought, if you like, for other contributory factors other than straight data. No matter what your system or strategy, you do need to consider other factors that may be influencing the odds and the outcome of the game. Okay, so next question comes from Bence, and this is more of a specific account related question. So he says, dear FBD, my account status says advanced membership, but if I try to downloading data, it says basic and neither enter racing bet data page. Thank you for your help. So I think the issue here is where somebody has joined the site, so they've upgraded to advanced. What PayPal will do is take you through to a complete registration process form. So it's important, anyone joining up and upgrading their account membership, once you've gone through the PayPal checkout, don't click exit or shut down your browser, because it will direct you to a simple web form. This web form allows the PayPal API to link your PayPal account to your football or racing bet data account. So if you exit that without completing, it sometimes means that your account sits in a bit of a black hole until one of us comes and manually flushes your upgrade through the system. So this is what's happened in this example. So word of advice for anybody who's looking to sign up, we really recommend that you do. You will get value for money, and I hope that the questions that are being asked and the interaction, and this is just a selection of it, and the feedback we get promotes you to do so. But please just make sure once you go through PayPal, which only takes a few seconds, once you complete that transaction, let PayPal redirect you to the registration form, and that will then get you set up instantly on the system. Okay, final question for the month, and this one comes from James. James says, hi, started using your archive software and showing average profit and max profit. Can I ask, what is this based, i.e. 10 stakes? Yeah, that's covered in our FAQ page. So for match results, everything is calculated to a 10 unit stake, where it's correct score prediction, that is calculated to a 1 unit stake. As I said, that's covered in our FAQ page. Do recommend that you anybody checks the FAQ pages on both sites to see if what they're asking is already covered in there. But as I said, if not, please feel free to get in touch and contact us. It's a bit of a chunk to get through all of these in one video. So thank you for everybody who's watched. Thank you for everybody who's inquired, sent us questions and feedback. You know, we do get an awful lot of popular and positive feedback throughout the month. Don't want to clog up this video showing messages of thanks and gratitude, but you can see the content in there. People are really engaging. The videos are proving popular. And we just encourage you to stay with us, recommend us to your friends. The data is there, it's there for you to use, and we're there to help where we can. And we really thank you for what you've done for us this year. And we hope that what we've offered back in terms of data providing and customer service has more than met your expectations. Thanks again.